Hello everyone, it's Yoshi your boy, Jet Black the one and only, here with another exciting live stream. Today is June 9th, 2019. I'm going to be talking about yesterday, June 8th, 2019. I'm going to be talking about my day. I'm going to be asking you guys in the live chat if you have any questions for your boy. I'm going to ask you guys about your day. I'm going to see if you guys have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about. Think of this as kind of like a video call where anybody can jump in and just talk about, whatever they want. My day was really solid. I hung out with Beth. We had a date. Before my date with Beth, I talked with your boy Aiden on the phone. We talked about rating systems for movies, video games, and television shows. I'm of the opinion that rating systems are helpful, and they help people understand what content is about, and help people understand what they and maybe their children might be exposed to. Well, Aiden feels like rating systems are kind of dumb and that they hurt parents. They essentially make it where bad parents can too heavily depend on rating systems rather than having to research and look into things before showing them to their kids. So me and Aiden had a really interesting conversation about that over the phone. For today's date, me and Beth hung out on campus, which was pretty fun. And then we went to cookout, and we hung out at cookout. It's actually me and Beth's first time going to cookout together, and it was really nice. Me and Beth both really enjoyed cookout, and I was glad to be able to go with her. Let's see, going into the live chat. Me and Beth both agree that this is probably one of like our favorite dates. I still think my favorite date with Beth is probably our first Bridge Street date we went on. I feel like that's when I really started feeling chemistry. But I understand why this date is definitely like up there. Let's see. Kel said, "Oh wow," and Ryan said, "Hi, hey guys, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream?" Also, when I'm talking about rating systems, by the way, for like TV, movies, and video games, I don't mean like review systems. I mean like, for example, for video games, you have like E10, T, M, and A rated games, stuff like that. And for movies, you have like G, PG, PG-13, and R. And for TV, you have like TVY, TVY7, TV14, etc., etc., etc. I'm talking about those kind of rating systems, not like stars and stuff like that. Kel said, "Can you whip on over to the Amino?" Of course, Kels. I'll get Amino open momentarily. Then Ryan said, "Amazon Video's rating system is ass tier. How so?" And then Ryan said, "Most everything is like a 3 to 4 star, regardless of quality." That's interesting. If you're hearing crinklings because Dad's in the room, hey Dad, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream?
No.
Okay, no. I was talking about like Dad trying to do something. Oh, I was like one of Olivia's like doll head things. I did not expect that. Is that Tangled? I don't know what her name is.
I don't know if it has a name.
I imagine she has it. It's the girl from Tangled. Whatever it is. No offense. Be gone. Let's see. See, let me pop out the chat. There we go. Let's see. Kel said, "Jet, can we get a dad review?" And then Ryan said, "Review Jet's posture out of 10." Well, lying down on the floor like this is not good posture. If I was like on my back on the floor, it'd be different. With this like bend up, my back is just not straight. So I'd say this like lying down posture is pretty bad. And then Ryan said posture 1 out of 10. Let's see. Let me make sure that it's live chat instead of top chat, so I can see everything. Don't worry. I still gotta get Amino up. Get Amino up right now. And then Kel said, "Would you say your back is gay?" I would not say my back is gay, but I understand where you're coming from. Better straighten up that back. Jump in on Amino. Excuse me. How was everybody's day today? I actually don't think anybody hit me up with that like day response. Okay. I see we got some more fan art stuff from Kells. Let's go. So Kells actually drew his Omnitrix, the Ultimatrix S. Oh, why'd you name it like an iPhone? What? And then Kel said my day was alright. Okay, that's good to hear. Ryan, how was your day? How was your day, Ryan? Also, does anyone have any questions or discussion topics they'd like to talk about? Let's see. I'm gonna scoot my phone over just a little bit. And then Ryan said day was boring. I'm sorry to hear that, Ryan. Tomorrow White David's coming into town. I'm gonna be hanging out with him and German Gabby at Steak and Shake. Ryan said he ate an egg. Did you eat like a raw egg? Or was it just like a normal egg? Was it like scrambled, sunny side up? This could potentially was an ostrich egg, a dinosaur egg. There are ways the story can be interesting. Kel said, "This is my Omnitrix, and as you can tell by the title, it's a form of Ultimatrix. Also, I can just share Kel's post to where you guys can see what he did. Kel's custom Omnitrix. In case anybody's like, what is he reading? It's right there in the live chat. The backstory of how I got it was this. Albedo found out about Jet's Omnitrix and he wanted to get rid of him, but didn't want to do it himself. So he sent the Proto Ultimatrix, or essentially the Beta Ultimatrix, to Earth, and whoever found it would be tracked down by Albedo and used to get rid of Jet. And after I get it, I travel with Albedo for a week or so collecting aliens to go against Jet. Along the way, I had a the race of jury rig. Thank you. Working for Albedo, hack and tweak my Proto Ultimatrix into the Ultimatrix S. The other picture shows me transformed into a Saiyan. I call the transformation Brutzel because brute is pronounced as brute, and Saiyans are brutes and are very brutal. So it's like saying brute and brutal at the same time. And the cell part comes from Brussels sprouts, and we all know Saiyans are named after vegetables. So it's not trying to say brute and brutal at the same time. That's what I thought you were going for. That's interesting. Let me open this image in a new tab. So he has more of the modern Omnitrix view of like how he looks through his aliens. You can tell by like the holographic spin wheel. That's very similar to how the Omnitrix works. In it's like a touch screen hologram kind of thing. But I dig it. It definitely has more of that Ultimatrix like gauntlet style, as you can see. I'm glad that I'm doing the open the image in the new tab thing. I probably should have been doing this for looking at you guys' pictures, but this makes a lot more sense. Definitely seems sleek. I think it would be really cool to see an image of you and I wearing our like custom Omnitrixes. Because it's one thing to see them by themselves, and it's one thing to like see them like on an arm. We could probably have like a cool like team pose or maybe like a battle pose, like wearing the watches. I think that'd be pretty dope. Has anyone joined this chat yet? Uh, Kells has. Kells has joined. He made the chat. And then here we go. I'm gonna open this in a new tab as well. So this is Kells as a Saiyan transformed using his Ultimatrix S. It's interesting. So the color scheme and also the way that like the eyes and the hair are set up, it kind of makes me think about what like Bin would look like as a Saiyan possibly. The hair is definitely darker than Ben's though, because it's like a black hair rather than like a brown hair thing. But it looks very similar to how I might imagine Ben as a Saiyan. And then of course this is the Super Saiyan transformation. Ooh, I like it. I definitely dig it. Now, Kells, I'm surprised that like your Saiyan form isn't black. I just kind of expected that it would be black, but it didn't have to be. It's just I was surprised. Not shook anything, just like, I didn't expect that. But I dig the design. I like the shirt. I like how you kept like the Ben 10 lines and stuff that because he normally has like a line down the middle kind of thing. It's like an inversion of the normal Ben 10 color scheme, similar to what he has when he's like Ben 10,000, with like black with white stripes instead of white with black stripes. And I like how it connects into the collar. I think that's like a cool design, and it has like a little like belt waistline that fits in with it, and like cuffs. I don't know. I really like the accents on the shirt. Is what I'm saying. That's pretty dope. Gloves are an interesting touch. I just didn't really know what to say about them. Um, but he definitely has those gloves. When he tosses you the hands, he keeps his hands clean. It keeps the blood off of his hands. Dig it, and I do feel like this and you're like, and with the Super Saiyan, bum, bum, bum. I thought it was funny. I'll change the title later if I think of something else. And then he said I wanted to make the skin darker, but I didn't have a colored pencil as the right shade, and that's understandable. Now Kevin 11 in like the new Benton show, he actually when he made his Omnitrix, didn't imitate the Omnitrix symbol. He made it look like a K. Is the idea? Like he tried to like it kind of looks like the Omnitrix. Excuse me on the lag. I think it would be cool if we had a custom Omnitrix symbol. Like if you were to do something like other than the Omnitrix hourglass, what would you do to like make it special and like give it its own like insignia? I think I would have like an image of like a shield if I wasn't doing the like Omnitrix hourglass. I like the Omnitrix hourglass because it's like also the symbol of the plumbers and like the symbol of like intergalactic peace. There's just like so much meaning put into that symbol. It's not just like an arbitrary thing. And it represents like it's time because hourglass and it's a watch. I don't know. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on with that symbolism. But if not that, then I would like a shield kind of thing instead of the hourglass. So what would your like unique symbol be if you had like a unique symbol on your Omnitrix face instead of like the normal hourglass? Kel said I wanted to make the skin darker, but I didn't have a colored pencil at the right shade, and that's understandable. Yeah, it happens. Kel said I had another post of Ultimate Brutal. Try refreshing the page. Oh, there's more. He's Billy Mazing us. Oh, I see. Mm. So this is ruby red grapefruit juice. That isn't the juice cocktail with the sugar added. That's 100% juice. So it's not like as sweet. It's more of like a tart taste, which is fine. I'm totally down with that. So right now I'm opening that amino post. Open image in new tab. So Kel said, I've already started with an ultimate Saiyan, would be like in the last stream, but just to reiterate, an ultimate Saiyan has perfect ki control and has ki flowing through their muscles, making every physical attack simultaneously a ki attack. There also is a constant state of Super Saiyan and get stronger throughout a fight via Zenkais, but they also get more bloodlusted throughout the fight as well. Excuse me. And then here we have his image of Ultimate Brutal. So, Ultimate Brutal. The things that like I want to say about Ultimate Brutal. So he's in like a constant state of Super Saiyan. His hair in Ultimate is like way crazier than like his normal like Super Saiyan setup, which is fair. It helps like the audience understand like, hey, this isn't your mama's Brutal. I noticed that his clothing is upgraded. That's not the same design. My boy's got that pop collar. My boy's working with Dracula now on that on that fashion. Ba-ba-ba-bang. I do like the additional accents that are set up. You took like the accent stuff from like the last one. You kind of turned it up to 11. His tail even is Super Saiyan now. Which makes sense that because all his hair color changes. I noticed you gave him a blast. I kind of would have preferred an action shot where he's doing a punch because I like the concept that like all his physical attacks are key attacks. So I guess I would have liked to have seen instead of like a key blast, a punch or a kick, where it just seemed like the air around like his punch or kick was like exploding with like key energy or something. I think that would have been like really cool to see. Then Kel said, I think I would have like a Roman symbol or something. A Roman symbol? You mean like alpha or like omega kind of thing? Because that's an interesting concept for sure. I think that would be kind of cool. I can imagine the omega symbol on an Omnitrix like pretty clearly, like in my head. I think that'd be dope. The Omegatrix. Dun, 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 dun. The, the end of all transformation devices. The Omegatrix will allow me to rule the known multiverse. Vilgax, pitiful. Vilgax is nothing compared to the force at my control. The Omegatrix. I could see that being like a villain thing. There's something about it. Kel said, I'll try to illustrate the key punches when I draw him fighting armor on. Ooh, I see you. Ooh. Ooh. But I think that'd be dope. Let's see. Oh, another one of my books is published. Feel free to check out my new book, Bolt Bones. Is it Bolt Bones? It's weird to be like, is it? But I jump from writing projects really quickly. So it'll be a thing where it's like I write a book and I publish it and then like cool, and then I just start working on the next book. Yeah. So live on Amazon as an ebook and as a paperback book, we got Bolt Bones superhero tabletop lit RPG. And I'm gonna like read the description real quick. It's a really short description, so it's not like it's gonna take forever. The story follows a one player game of a fictional superhero tabletop RPG. The main character wakes up in an empty room with no memory and a smartphone. Follow their adventure as they try to unravel the mystery of who they are and battle against deadly forces from their past. The story is written in a script style as a dialogue between the player and the game master. Whenever the player rolls to complete an action in the game, the rolls and any modifiers are included in the book. If that sounds interesting, you can pick up Bolt Bones Superhero Tabletop Lit RPG on Amazon right now. The ebook is only $2.99, and it is about 21 pages long. The physical paperback book, I think, is like 36 pages long. The way that they format ebooks, it ends up being shorter. I don't know how they do it. I think it has to do with how ebooks do maybe like font and spacing and stuff like that. There's a lot more room on the paperback page than there is like on the ebook screen or whatever. But definitely feel free to check it out. I'll post a link to it in the live chat. But I definitely enjoyed writing that book, and I think it's like a pretty fun concept. If you guys have like never read or like heard about lit RPG before, it might be like a nice introduction to that kind of genre if you're interested in it. Then Kel said, "Dude with the Omegatrix be like, yeah, Vilgax was on that pussy shit." That was a very interesting quote from the dude with the Omegatrix. Oh, Vilgax. He was on that pussy shit. The Omegatrix. About to make Vilgax my Omega bitch. Let's see. But yeah, I do think the Omegatrix seems like an interesting idea for a villain. I don't really know what it would do. You know what? Um, they had that one Ben 10 animated movie where the whole point was like the Omnitrix was in self-destruct mode, so it kept releasing like these incredibly powerful energy waves um that were like getting increasingly stronger, and it was like if it keeps doing this, the Omnitrix will eventually like destroy everything and kill Ben. Like it's gonna be some shit. The Omegatrix could be like that, but like a controlled thing. So essentially, the Omegatrix is always in like a self-destruct kind of mode, and every time the user transforms, it causes more and more damage. But unlike Ben's watch, where eventually it would like kill Ben, the wearer of the Omegatrix is fine. So it destroys whatever is like around them, but it doesn't hurt them. I think that actually would be pretty powerful because every time you transform, you probably could just win the fight just by transforming. And even if you didn't, it would probably severely weaken whoever your opponent is before the fight even starts. Then Ryan said Omnitrix self destruct waves. Then Kel said, I would be cool of the Omegatrix genetically engineer its own aliens. So the Omegatrix doesn't use like real aliens. It just like there's like an AI algorithm and it just makes up its own forms. That's like an interesting concept. Then Ryan said, "Remember when Ben broke the Omnitrix and then tried to fix it with gum?" Ben, as a 10-year-old, would do like a lot of stupid shit. I remember scenes of the show where he would like chew on the watch and stuff like that and like hit it with rocks and shit. I also remember in Alien Force when his parents like try to ground him, so they try to like remove the watch with like a saw and shit like that, where they're sawing like directly on the watch and like trying to use power tools and shit. It was really interesting. They describe the watch more or less as being like an extremely durable piece of hardware. It's not something where like you could just harm it and it get fucked. As a matter of fact, the watch seems incredibly durable. I imagine if you like shot it with a bullet, it wouldn't break. Excuse me. I feel like people don't talk about that enough because it's never really a plot point. Very rarely does anyone like try to hit Ben and Ben like brace himself with the watch. But the watch seems like it could like take a beating. I guess if he did brace himself with the watch, he's at risk of them hitting the transformation button. Like even if the watch doesn't break, he'll probably be forced into whatever form is like currently selected if someone were to hit it just right. But that's an interesting concept. Well, that depends, because a lot of times the way the watch works is you hit the button, and then it pops out, and then you to like transform. Um, I do think it's interesting that the way that it works is that like the Omnitrix symbol, they made it universally appear on the chest at a certain point, but it used to appear on different parts of the alien's body depending on who the alien was. Like it used to be on like forearms, a shoulder, and like Grey Matter's back and shit like that. But they started making it universally always appear on the chest, and it became a thing where you essentially have master control because you can always just like hit it and then turn into like what you want, like turn into like another alien, and then an ultimate alien you could hit it and you could go into like the ultimate form of like an alien. Kel said, "What was the name of the guy who made the Omnitrix again?" Azimuth, and I can type it into the live chat. Oops, shit, I fucked up. There we go. The G and the H are right next to each other. Mm. But yeah, Azimuth is the creator of the Omnitrix. I think he gives three different reasons for why he made the Omnitrix. Um, I think the first reason we hear is like, I wanted to create a device where different alien races could understand each other by kind of like taking a mile in like another person's shoes. Like you could transform into another alien and truly understand what it's like to be them as like a form of like galactic empathy device so that you could like really understand how other beings live. But then he's like, I fucked up because really it's just a weapon. So that's like incredibly dangerous. Um, I think there's another reason he gives after that. Like where he's like, the Omnitrix was really made for this. Um, I don't remember what the second reason was. But I think the last reason he gives for why he made the Omnitrix is more or less, I made it to impress a girl. The second reason might have been something like related to Vilgax. It might have been something where it's like, I made it to like stop bad guy. Like it's weird, but I can't remember the specifics of the second reason. I think there were three reasons. Anyone who's like better versed on Ben 10, feel free to correct me. But I think Adsmith gives three different reasons, with the last one being to impress a girl, and the first one being for like galactic peace, for people to like understand different races. Ryan said, except the Omnitrix isn't very durable, as Ben broke it with a screwdriver. He did. He did. I remember that because he pops the little faceplate thing off, and when he does, it causes the like combining alien shit. Excuse me. Pretty much the first appearance of like a bi Omnitrix kind of thing, where he could turn into combo aliens even though he's not supposed to. It is interesting that Ben was able to get the like faceplate thing off with a screwdriver, but when his dad tries to remove it with like a saw, He doesn't break anything. That's really weird. And then Ryan said use gum to stick the part back on. 10 out of 10. Mm. Yo, Ryan, have you been like rewatching some Ben 10 recently, or just watching some Ben 10 recently? You know, I'm always down to watch that Ben 10. Ben 10 Life. I don't have any Ben 10 shirts. I have like hella superhero shirts and like Dragon Ball shirts. I don't think I. Do they make Ben 10 shirts for adults? I'd fuck with it. Kel said, I thought it was cool that in the reboot, Vilgax was like split two and one. Of them was stuck in the Omnitrix or something like that. It's not that Vilgax was split like two and one. Ben, for a short period of time, I hate that it was temporary, but Ben for a short period of time had an alien called Gax, and he could transform into Vilgax essentially. I really liked that. I thought that was a really cool idea. They should just let Ben have Gax. I've wanted that since like the OG series. So when they were like, Ben has Vilgax as a transformation, I was like, ooh, that's so clean. Like all the times that Vilgax has like fought Ben and interacted directly with the Omnitrix like in the original series never was like new DNA collected and like unlocked Vilgax. I've always wanted some shit like that to happen. So I think that's really dope. Like I'm glad that they like gave him that in the reboot. And then Ryan said, "No, I haven't been watching it." Oh well, we should watch some Benton together because Benton's dope as fuck. High praise, high praise. Big fan of the Benton. High praise. Mm. More juice. So that's pretty good juice. Let's see. I think tomorrow at like 3 is when I'm gonna be meeting German Gabby and White David at Steak and Shake. I might spend some time writing tonight. Last night I didn't want to write because I was like, oh, I gotta wake up like relatively early to make sure that I'm like ready for the date or whatever. But then I could have stayed up later to be honest last night. And I did a little bit. I wrote like 7 pages or something, but I'm not sure if I like that story or not. I started writing a story about a guy and he's a giant and he meets another giant and he tries to take the giant he met back to his village. But the people of the village didn't expect to see another giant, so they were scared of the second giant because everyone else in the village isn't giant. So they freaked out and they evacuated. And then the guy who's from the village tried to be like, "Hey guy, like he's safe. He's not a threat." And he accidentally like raises his voice and he like annihilates the village with his voice. And he's like, "Oops." So the second giant feels bad because he's like, "Oh man, you know, if I didn't like come with you to like the village, none of this would have happened, and you wouldn't have like destroyed the village and like scared off like all the villagers." And he's like, "Nah, it's my fault. I should have known better than to have like raised my voice." Um, he's like, "If we rebuild the village, I think they'd be fine with like letting you stay here the way they've let me stay here." And he's like, "But I'm not like a carpenter. Like, how are we gonna like rebuild the village?" And the first giant's like, "I'm a treasure hunter. The reason they let me stay here is because I like go and I find them like rare treasure and shit that they use in order to like prosper. All we have to do is together as like two giants go and like find some treasure and then pay like the best carpenters in the land to come back and like rebuild the village. And then the villagers being thankful for us like building the village like better than before will just let us like stay here is like the plan. And I got to a part where like they know where there's like a pyramid where they could find more treasure, but there's like a thick like tree line or whatever. And if they were like normal size, they could just move between the trees. But the trees are like too thick. They can't like walk through them. And that's where I was at in the story. And I'm not sure if I actually like that story or if I just want to write something else. Let's see. Kel said, "Why did Albedo look like a lame OC recolor of Ben?" So albedo at a certain point ends up getting infected like with Ben's DNA. Like Ben's DNA is so closely connected to like the Omnitrix that something happens where albedo, like the Omnitrix is so closely related to Ben's DNA that albedo's DNA becomes like a mutated version of Ben's. And then albedo is like, when I transform into aliens using my ultimatrix, the ultimatrix is like in sync with the omnitrix in a way. So now when I turn back to normal, my DNA has like permanently been changed to be like Ben's DNA. So in order to be a Galvin, which is what the gray matter race is called, in order to be a Galvin, I have to transform into one with the watch. I can't be myself anymore without the Ultimatrix. And he has this thing where he's like, I keep craving these crazy like smoothies and like chili cheese fries and shit. And he's like, I hate it, but now it's like the only thing I want to eat. And he's like, this has ruined my life. It's like part of the reason why he hates Ben so much. Um, because he's kind of forced to be him. Ryan said the horns were needed to prepare a medicine for her village, suffering from a plague. Unknown to her, the dragons burned and trampled her village, once displaced from their den. I don't know what that is a quote from, but Ryan definitely posted a quote. That's Ryan quotes. Da, da, that's a new segment. I told Aiden that there are like a bunch of YouTube channels that I'm like subscribed to, but I don't actually watch the content of. So I'm thinking about maybe unsubscribing. I don't watch CinemaSins anymore. I like have CinemaSins in like my subscription box. I always see the videos pop up, but I never actually look at them. Kel said, I feel bad for Albedo. I think he got back to normal in Omniverse. I think in Omniverse, Albedo might have ended up becoming like Kid Bin. Like it was kind of worse. Also, Ryan, I'm not gonna read all these quotes about like dragon slaying. I don't even know what that is. Like, are you writing those? And you're not, because you're quoting them. Yeah, I don't know what that is. It doesn't seem bad or anything. It just seems weird. No offense. I just have no context for like what it is. Um, but it's interesting that you're like sympathizing with Albedo kills. Albedo's kind of like in a weird position because he's more or less like an apprentice to Azimuth who's jealous of Azimuth, and he's like, I can do something better than you. But then the Ultimatrix is like flawed. And I feel like the ultimate forms are actually kind of shitty. So I just feel like Albedo's kind of wrong. Ryan said, bad film. Oh, sorry. CinemaSins equals bad film criticism and shit videos. Um, I don't watch CinemaSins anymore. Married with Clicks, I subscribed to, but then I don't actually like watch. I just tried to watch one of their live streams today. I'm like a little shaky on it. Married with Clicks is like a married couple, and they play Hero Clicks, and they talk about Hero Clicks like on like a podcast kind of thing on YouTube. I'm like, I want to learn more about Hero Clicks and like get into the game. So this seems like the kind of thing I might want to watch. I tried to watch some of it like earlier, and it wasn't bad, but I couldn't really vibe. And then Kel said, "Oh, can I elaborate on my relationship with Albedo? No homo." Yeah, that's totally fine. And whether it was homo or not, it doesn't matter to me. That's cool. It's up to you. Um, let's see. And then your boy Ryan sent us up with more quotes. Quotes or something. Boom. You can also read my books for free on Kindle Unlimited. Not a bad deal. Ryan's like, what he posted rhymes. Or is it what you posted? or is it what Kells posted? Because he posted albedo and homo, which could be the rhyme you're referring to. Kel said, so in my fanfic, albedo got the DNA of Chris Pratt instead of Ben, and now we're married. And he said, JK. Well, I think you meant Chris Pratt, unless you do mean Chris Pratt. I'm just not familiar with Chris Pratt. Oh, Kels. If you had an Omnitrix that could only turn you into one alien, what one alien would you choose and why? Um, I feel like Jury Rig, now that it's been established that like you can build an Omnitrix with parts from your garage, is suddenly a really high tier alien. It's a thing where it's like you can build an Omnitrix with stuff in like an Earth garage, and Jury Rig's whole thing is he can quickly scrap together stuff with whatever's around. Excuse me. Sounds like you can actually make some pretty intense shit with like random stuff. Ryan said review this card, and he posted up a Yu-Gi-Oh card link. Interesting. I don't think I've ever done a card review on here. Okay, so this is a manga card. It's a continuous trap card. I'll call it Fires of Shiranui. The effect of the card. Monsters cannot be sent from the field to the graveyard except when they are destroyed. Fires of Shiranui. Is it good? Should you run it? We're going to talk about it. So, for one, it's a continuous trap card. Would this card be better as a continuous spell card? Well, that's debatable. If you wanted Fires of Shiranui to be like a continuous spell instead of a continuous trap, you couldn't really do it as a reaction to anything. You could only really do it on like your turn. So if you wanted to do that reaction, then it wouldn't really work out. Now, would it be better as a quick play spell card? That's a good question. I feel like you're getting to the center of it all. So I feel like if they made it like a quick play spell card, and the quick play spell card and its card text essentially made it where the card stayed on the field. I don't know how they would phrase that. And I don't know if there are any other quick play spell cards that are like that are essentially continuous, but when you play it, it just is like I stay, like until I'm like destroyed or whatever. Um, I think as a quick play, it probably would be a little bit better, just because then you can have the effect whenever you want it, rather than specifically having to wait. I think if this was a quick play spell, it'd be a little bit better. I just find those to be better than traps. Um, Now, the concept that monsters cannot be sent from the field to the graveyard except when they are destroyed could definitely disrupt some decks that are heavily dependent on sending cards from the field to the graveyard by non-destruction, but by like a card effect. Cards cannot be sent from the field to the graveyard. Does that prevent them from being sent when tributing as well? Like, what all counts as sent from field to the graveyard? Can you tribute monsters while Fires of Shiranui is on the field? Or is it like, nah? Can you, like, use monsters as, like, fusion material? Or, like, synchro material? Or does it go like, nah? Um, because I think that really matters. It seems like it could disrupt a lot if it would prevent like tributing and using things as materials for like fusion monsters and like shit like that. Let's see. Kel said I would basically work for Albedo after I get the watch, but I would know that who I wouldn't. This is know who. I would know that he's evil and stuff, but I only stay with him so I can make the Ultimatrix X. I almost said X. Ultimatrix S stronger and test my abilities. So you would stay with Albedo even though you know Albedo's evil, just to get those upgrades. There's actually a Ben 10 comic. I don't think the comics are necessarily in continuity with the show, but I'm not exactly sure if they are or not. I don't own it, but I read a little bit of it when I was at the Deep. and they had a whole issue about this. You guys are familiar with the alien Brainstorm? There's like an evil Brainstorm who's like a rival of Azimuth. It's a similar like I'm jealous of Azimuth and I'm like evil kind of character. But he is like trying to make like his own Omnitrix, and in that comic, he's made like a whole bunch of them, but he feels like they're not good enough. So there's just like a pile of them like in his house, and a pizza delivery guy shows up to like bring pizza to his goons and steals one of the Omnitrixes. And I thought that was like a really interesting story. I was like, what? So like within the world of Ben 10, within like the canon of that comic, if you just happen to be able to get in that house, there's just a pile of Omnitrixes you could get. I was like, that's fucking crazy. Kel said only one alien. That's a hard decision. Um, I think Accelerate is like really good, but Clockwork is really good for very similar reasons. And Clockwork is potentially just better than Accelerate, just due to them doing very similar things. So probably Clockwork. If I could pick only one, I really like Clockwork. Um, yeah, that's probably the best choice to be honest. If not Clockwork, maybe like Upgrade. If not Clockwork, I could see that. Really depends. And then Ryan said, yes, fires of the Shiranui would prevent tributing monsters on the field and as all those materials. And he said, as Bastion uses it and another card to lock Judai out of fusion summons, would it also stop Link summoning? And would it also stop. It seems like it stops Link summoning, it stops synchros, it stops fusions, it doesn't stop Xyz. You could still go into XYZs or Xyz, however you want to call them. It doesn't stop pendulum summoning. It it stops those cards that like level up. Um, does it do? Wait, how do the level up cards work? Um, like Silent Sorcerer or whatever the fuck his name is, Silent Swordsman. How do they work? Do they say that they like get tributed, or do they say that they get destroyed and replaced? How do they work? And then Kel said I would go for Clockwork too. Well, Clockwork's just really good, so I can't blame you on that. He's a good ass alien. So Ryan wants me to review another card. It's a manga trap card, Norukami Waterfall. It's another continuous trap. Neither player can send monsters from their hand to the graveyard. So that stops fusion summons in a whole different way. And it shits on rituals. Um, and it shits on dangers? Yeah, that's a hard anti-danger card, actually. Now I think about it. Um, does Thunder Dragon have to do with discarding cards from hand? I don't play Thunder Dragon, and I don't play a lot of Thunder Dragon people, so I don't know. It seems like it shits on Fables. It shits on what's the what's the dark thing that's all about discarding? It's fairly popular. I don't remember what it's called. Let's see. Nani said, keep an eye on it. Hit the whip. Yo, Nani. Welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you like to talk about on this stream? Ryan said, and it prevents hand traps from discarding. True. Kel said, if not Clockwork, I go for Echo Echo, but only for the multiplying ability. Echo Echo's not bad. My favorite clone-based alien is Ditto, because I liked that each of the Ditto clones clearly had their own like full personality. They would like talk to each other and like have discussions, and even though they're all technically the same guy, they still seem to be like unique. Like Ditto is talking to yourself, but it's kind of a unique you. and there's something I really vibe with that. Like I vibe on a certain level with that. It's similar when the Boruto clones and talks to his clones. His clones seem to be like their own people as well. I like that dynamic. Echo Echo could be the same, but Ditto, it was very apparent that each of the Dittos kind of like had their own like way of seeing things. And then Ryan said, yes, Thunder Dragon's discard from the hand. Okay. And then Ryan said, Dark Worlds. Thank you. I couldn't remember the name. Nani said, I just saw on Alien X pics, there are a fat looking one and a skinny one. Why? I mean, aliens come in all different shapes and sizes, and when you can manipulate reality, if you want to be skinny, why not? And if you want to be a fat ass nigga, why not? It's your choice. Yeah, maybe they appreciate that. Don't body shame the fucking celestial beings. That just sounds like a bad idea. Fucking clap that ass, Nani. Kel said I would go for Ditto, but they share pain, and that's not good. That's the biggest thing that cucks Ditto is that he shares pain. I think that was like the biggest nerf to Ditto, actually. And then Nani said I don't like the fat one. Why can't they be fat? They probably don't even eat. They're probably just choosing to be fat. Nani said he looks like Crimson Chin. So he probably wants to. That's probably legitimately a choice. It's not a thing where he's like eating. He's just like, I can make reality whatever I want. I guess I'll be fat. And then he said, I don't vibe with it. I vibe with it. He's making a life choice. Or she. Not assuming gender. Nani said, bruh, but I like the skinny one though. I mean, that's you. That's you. That's an opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. Kel said, Nani, stop body shaming aliens. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion. That's perfectly fine. Uh, I'm just like, he's just doing him, dude. You don't see the fat Alien X shitting on the other Alien X's. He's trying to be unique. All the other ones look kind of skinny. On my hip. Ooh. Oh, have you guys listened to the U? I almost said the U. Have you guys listened to the new Young Gravy album, Sensational? It's pretty good. Nani said so. No detox from Ryan today. Nope, not so far. Also on Pluto.tv, if any of you guys watch Pluto TV, they have a channel called Eye Candy. I imagine you guys will like that. Earlier today, I was watching that and listening to the Young Gravy Sensational album. It's pretty nice, pretty nice. Um, let's see. Nani said it's that. Oh, is that like a free thing? Yeah, Pluto TV is a free thing. They have ads, but they just show just random shit. And it's not random. Different channels show different content. Kel said, I've been getting into Young Gravy late. Sorry, you didn't say Young Gravy lately, but my brain tried to say that. You just said Young Gravelly, but I've only listened to a few of his songs. The two songs of Young Gravy that I would like highly recommend are Young Gravy, The Boys Are Back, and another song I'd recommend you check out is Young Gravy E.T. Those are the two new songs that he dropped on Sensational that were really good. I'm not saying that the rest are bad, but I find myself repeatedly listening to E.T. and The Boys Are Back. The third best song on the album, this one is definitely ranked number 3 for a reason, is Whip a Tesla. It's okay. That's the song that he did with Baby No Money on the album, and it's all right. It's not. I don't think it's as good as E.T. E.T. was the first song I think I heard on the album where I was like, oh shit, okay, this is like pretty clean. The Boys Are Back is something I had to listen to like a couple times before I was like, ooh, okay, I like really fuck with this. And then Whip a Tesla is something that I had to listen to a little bit more before I was like, okay, it's okay. The other ones aren't bad, but I think they're just kind of standard. They don't feel really like crazy. But I do think the album does like a few neat things that I enjoy. The Boys Are Back is definitely worth it. The first line of that song is a bar. The Boys Are Back is really good. E.T., when it started, I thought that album was over and they were playing some random shit. And then Young Gravy jumps on the track and I'm like, wow, this is different. Oh shit. So I really like E.T. And The Boys Are Back. Whip a Tesla is more or less getting an honorable mention from me. But I do like Young Gravy, and the Young Gravy sensational album's like okay. At least two good songs. At least two like pretty solid bangers came out of it. So I'm not mad. Snow Cougar was so good. Holy shit. I don't think Sensational's a bad album, but I feel like Snow Cougar from like last year, I was bumping that shit like all summer. Snow Cougar was really good. There's a Ben 10 bar in Snow Cougar. I didn't see any of those in Sensational. They missed me. They man. Um but yeah, I like Young Gravy. I've been listening to The Boys Are Back and E.T. And then I've been listening to a song called Minute. It's not by Young Gravy. That song's by I don't remember what the fuck that kid's name is. But it's like a really young rapper. Like maybe like 16. Um he has a really good song. His name isn't 16, that's just his age. But he has a really good song called Minute. And it's some pretty solid shit. He has like a really fast flow. He's killing it. Kel said, Jet, what's your favorite Benton alien? Um, is it like a specific category or period? Because I feel like design wise, like if we're just talking about like the aesthetic of an alien, I just the aesthetic. Like if it's just like how they look, Fast Track is very comic booky. He looks actually like a superhero, which I think is interesting. Shock Rock, I felt like has an interesting like Gollum look to him. Um, but I actually do really like how Fast Track looks. Astrodactyl has an interesting design too. Like if you just go aesthetics, um, I think like Astrodactyl and Fast Track look really cool. Accelerate's cool, like aesthetically too. Um, but Fast Track is probably one of my favorite Benton aliens if you just go by how they look. I think he looks like he like came out of a comic book. Who is you guys' like favorite alien like visual design wise? Um, when it comes to like favorite set of powers, for like a Benton alien, I think if I turned into amphibian and that was the only alien I had, I'd probably be happy with it. Like I could do plenty. Amphibian can become intangible. He can fly. He can turn to electricity. He can travel through power lines. He can like detect the electrical signals in your brain and like read your thoughts and shit. He's just really good because you could just use him in a lot of situations. Being able to turn intangible and like travel through like phone lines and shit and read minds, and you like can shoot electricity and shit like that. Um, you could just do so much. You really could. I could be like, oh, I just want to travel somewhere. Zoop into a device, zoop out of a device. Oh, cool. I could be like, I want to be stealthy. So I like go intangible. I like travel around and like look at shit. I could be like, I need to know what this person's thinking. And I could like read their mind and like figure out like people's intentions. He just has a nice toolkit. There's a lot that Amphibian can do fresh out the box that just makes him useful. So I really like his power set. So I like Fast Track's aesthetic. I like Amphibian's like toolkit. I think the most powerful Benton alien is Clockwork, because even Alien X has been shown to have to bow down to time, and Clockwork just seems to be able to do the most with time. So I think he could dig Alien X, and most people. So I think Clockwork's probably like Ben's like most powerful alien. Um, so I think if Ben had an alien that looked like Fast Track, had the toolkit of like Amphibian, and had like the overwhelming power of clockwork, it would overall be like a really good ass alien. Kel said Atomic X for design, which is the Biomnitrix fusion of Atomics and Alien X. But I would choose the magic people when it comes to power. But I realize that's technically cheating. It's not. So Gwen is fuck Anodites. So the Anodites are like the people who are made of pure mana. They are aliens. They're just not Omnitrix aliens. But I don't know why not. The Omnitrix could easily just be like new sample found and like take in that DNA and then give Ben a transformation into an Anodite. You know, I don't understand why it doesn't. Maybe because Ben only ever runs into Anodites that he's related to. Also, I really didn't like they have a cousin that looks like Gwen, but she has like a different color hair, but it's essentially the same character model who's like an Anodite. And I'm like, she looks too similar. I don't like that she looks pretty much exactly the same. Kevin said, I don't know if I have a Ben 10 alien or not. It's been ages since I've seen it. Also, what's your thoughts on the Ben 10 spinoff? Like the dude that uses tech as wing, fist, and other things. Oh, you're thinking about Generator Rex. Generator Rex isn't necessarily a spinoff. It takes place, I guess, in the same multiverse as Ben 10. Because they have like a crossover between universes. So it's not the same universe, but the same multiverse for them to be able to cross over with each other. Generator Rex was cool. I've never finished it. I always watch like the first few episodes of Generator Rex and then fall off. I thought the crossover between Generator Rex and Ben 10 was really cool though. Yo, Kevin, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on this stream? I thought it was really dope when Ben turned into Upgrade and then upgraded Generator Rex. I thought that was dope. Um, Upgrade has some of the best moments in the show. He really does. Like in Ben 10 as a whole, in the Ben 10 reboot, one of the best upgrade moments is like when he upgrades the Omnitrix and he unlocks like Omni enhanced forms from it. Uh, the Generator Rex crossover upgrading Generator Rex was like really dope. Um, I like when Ben teams up with his future self and his future self turns into Upgrade and then upgrades Ben as Clockwork. That was like really dope. There are a lot of like cool upgrade moments throughout the series, but the best fight has to go to Alien X. Alien X had like craziest fight in Universe versus Tennyson. Kevin said, "I'm good." Oh, I'm glad to hear it, Kevin. Do you have any questions or any discussion topics you like to talk about? We have about like 2 minutes left in the stream. Like before, I'm gonna dip. I'm gonna get more juice. Oh, I'm gonna get more juice. That was the last. That was the last of that juice. At least in that cup. There's more in the fridge. There wasn't enough to wet my throat. That's why I need more of it. More of the juice. Let's see. But I do really like Ben 10. I'm glad that we've been getting into more like Ben 10 talks. It's just like one of my favorite things. But not a lot of people seem like super into it. At least like in my immediate area. Like I don't think there are many people in my friend group who really fuck with it. Cassie is into like Ben 10. She seems to like really fuck with it. Kel said, I'm gonna go. I'll start working on Conduit tomorrow. Oh, ballin'. Hey, thank you for tuning in, Kels. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we do these live streams. It's your friend, your boy, Jet Black the one only. Logging out. Peace. Kevin said, didn't Benton's sister, or was she the cousin? His cousin. Doesn't she end up getting powers? Yes. She secretly is like an Anodite. And Anodites are like these magical aliens who are able to manipulate the energy of all living things, which is called mana, and it allows her to like cast spells and stuff like that. So yeah, she definitely has powers. In the reboot, it seems like she doesn't. Seems like she doesn't have any abilities. So the reboot may be getting rid of the whole she has powers thing. Similarly, in the reboot, it seems like they don't have plumbers. Like they don't have like the space police force stuff. That also seems to just be gone in the reboot, which is interesting. But yeah, thank you guys once again for tuning in. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black the One Only, logging out. Peace.